Hey, welcome everyone to our next episode of the Perry Homes podcast. I'm here. My name is Steve Peterson. I'm the host, along with my co-host Trevor Taylor. Trevor's the marketing director, and we're just a couple of jokers that thought we'd start a podcast
Podcast.
Every time I start, I screwed a word up in our last one, Lance. So this is our podcast. It's better than a podcast.
Well, I'll probably help you out.
Okay, perfect. See, Lance was a little nervous; he'd get tongue-tied, and when I did that first, anyway. Trevor Taylor is the marketing director and co-host of the Perry Homes podcast. Anyway, we're super excited today because I kind of grew up in the industry on the construction side. Seems like in this business, like Trevor grew up through the sales and marketing side. And where I came up through what we call the field, I've been out in the field as an assistant superintendent, and came up that way. So I'm super excited for our guest today. His name is Lance Abplanalp. Damn it!
Abplanalp.
I had this whole, Lance gave me a training on how to pronounce his name, and then
I've got a tough one. Abplanalp.
Abplanalp.
Yep.
Yeah,
Perfect.
see, I had it down the other day, and then I messed it up today. So, anyway, Lance is our one of our senior superintendents. He's been around for a couple of decades, 30, 29 years. How long, Lance?
It'll be 30 next month.
Oh my gosh. So really, you're almost your whole adult life.
Yeah.
You've been working at Perry Homes. So
Almost my entire life.
Yeah.
I know. I forget that Trevor's just a baby. You're under 30, right?
I'm 31. I'm
31.
in my 30s
okay,
now.
good. You look so young. Anyway, Trevor and I have a blast doing this, so it's fun. So we're just going to jump right into it. Lance, I'll just ask the first question is, so in building a home, you always have a guy like me or Tyler. So you have a few guys that are watching over the construction. How do you balance when your boss is pushing you to build the home so quickly? How do you balance that with building it properly and having a high quality while you feel like someone's trying to whip you to have you build it quickly?
Putting a little pressure on you to get the timelines. First of all, I think we have to be real selective in our subcontractors. We have to have a lot of faith that they can perform. And a couple of things that we've started implementing is giving each sub their own time. So I'll bring in a plumber, give them a day, and then the heating guys, the electricians. But it's a schedule that works if everybody performs the way they're supposed to. And I feel like at Perry we've got a pretty good team of people that perform and honor our schedules. It's up to us to make sure that the schedules are reasonable, but in answer to your question is how do we meet those demands? We have to be really good at our scheduling, pretty structured in how we handle things, but it works out pretty well.
Yeah, that's interesting because really at the end of the day, in what you do, it's about the subcontractors.
Yeah,
right?
we have to.
It's not like you're not picking up a hammer and saw it and build. Everything you do is through the subs.
Yeah, we have to be a team with our subs, and by treating them the way you'd want to be treated, you get a lot of leverage out of them and respect. So,
yeah, isn't it interesting, Trevor, that kind of the same things that come up the way we treat our customers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Lance talked about respecting our subs.
Absolutely.
Right? It's interesting at Perry Homes.
we absolutely have to respect and have enough faith in our subs, and we're selective in picking our subs. We do a thorough check on them and their availability and their manpower, so we're able to meet our schedules.
I think that's one thing that some homeowners or home buyers don't realize is that our subcontractors aren't Perry Homes employees, right?
Oh, yeah.
But they are in a way. They're an extension of Perry Homes. So when they see those subcontractors or see what they're doing, that they represent Perry Homes as well. So yeah, being selective and making sure we're picking those good subcontractors it's an important thing.
Hey Lance, I want to dive into the weeds a little bit. So a four-way inspection: framing, plumbing, heat and air, electrical. Right,
yeah.
The four
biggies.
Those that outside of the business, that four-way inspection, it's everything that gets done before the house is what they say covered, before anything. We can put any cladding on the outside or insulation and sheetrock on the inside. So it's all the guts of the house.
Yeah.
Really, the central nervous system. The city comes out and inspects that. It's a very thorough inspection and a big deal for guys like Lance. How do you just kind of take us through? How do you prepare? That's a complicated deal. How do you prepare for that kind of inspection?
Well, most cities, first of all, are going to require you to have a stamped set of plans on site. But again, going back to what I'd mentioned about having the subs in there on their own time frame, we're able to accomplish a lot more by letting them have their time and not crowd a bunch of subs in.
Gotcha. Okay.
But what I do is, as each trait goes through the house, I inspect their work as well. So I have a good idea if I'm missing a strap or if something needs to be done. But to be really thorough and get everything the way you want it, you have to watch every trade, be involved with them, not just do a drive-by, but go in the house. I meet with my subs and I give them my expectations of what I want. And that usually works pretty well, so you don't get what they want to do. But by meeting each sub, the plumbers, the heating guys, the framers, and then I just do a once over after everybody's done, make sure it looks adequate, and then we call the city and we bring them out for the big inspection. And
what are some of the, when you do that walk, what are some of the key things that you look for that you want to make sure are done before the inspector shows up?
I want to make sure there's no obviouses. I mean, there's a lot of bearing points. There's shear wall. I walk the house to make sure the shear wall's been done right. All of our bearing points have the proper bearing underneath. All the straps are in place. No loose ends. In our basements, we have fur downs. I want to make sure that they're all tight up to one area so they're not strung through the house. But just being real thorough on
So
going through everything.
Like a lot of the structural that, for the folks at home, what Lance is talking about, he has a plan that has the architectural drawings, but also that has all the structural engineering.
Yeah.
Right. So all your posts and your headers and your beams. Right. The inspector is going to look at a lot of those.
Yeah, he's going to go through your floor spans, make sure that everything is right on the money.
Yeah. I love what you do, Lance, because it's a really complicated. You don't have to know everything about plumbing it and framing and heating and electrical, but you have to know a little bit about all of those.
Right.
Right. So your job is kind of taxing in some way. You have to know a little bit about everything.
You do have to be somewhat educated in every area, and you learn that a lot from the inspectors. Like a new superintendent, he's gonna have some trial and errors. But if you listen to your inspectors from your different cities, you'll learn a lot from them, and you see what they call. And another good idea is to get into the back of your plans. The last 2 pages are all the details. So if you want to do spend 2 or 3 hours going through all the details, it's going to more than likely be seen by the inspector. You can check all those and do your own check and make sure all that is in place before you call them out. No one wants to call out an inspector and not be ready for it. You get a really bad reputation.
Right? Yeah.
So if you do that and you go in very prepared, you'll earn the respect of the inspectors, and they'll know you mean well and are going to do a good job.
Well, I've got about 1 billion questions, but I'm going to let Trevor ask some. I'm afraid I'll just kind of take on. I love the field stuff so much, but
no, this has to do with the field. For those of us that don't have a background in this, that don't know as much like myself, tell us what a day in the life looks like as a superintendent. I know currently you're out in West.
You know what I liken it to? The horse races. That gun goes off and it's just galloping forward.
Love it. Here we go.
So, I mean, my day in life is I first inspect all my homes. I go through and I do an evaluation on each home, what stage they're in and what needs to be done. I check my schedules. I make sure that the subcontractors that are supposed to be there are there. And I oftentimes will make a phone call to the upcoming ones and just remind them. We're trying to, ever since COVID, things have changed drastically in the construction world, but the schedules are more drawn out. We're given month schedules now instead of 2 to 3 weeks. And it's really common and pre-scheduling things. But yeah, the day starts out just going through your homes, babysitting kind of, I guess you could say. all the different moving parts of the home, and just being able to see what needs to be fixed, what doesn't need to be, and where to spend more time and less time. At the end of the day, we do the same thing. We go back through the homes, we see what's been done, who's coming again, and then we lock up our homes to make sure they're secured for the night.
Awesome.
I don't know if that answers.
No, that's great. Yeah, thank you.
Great question. I've done Lance's job for a lot of years, so that was kind of just self-evident to me. But yeah, realizing other people wouldn't. What does the superintendent do all day?
Yeah.
We don't sit on our trucks like everybody
No,
thinks.
I was going to mention. Yeah, that's it's kind of an inside joke for people in Lance in my position that there's some guys, we call them drive-by supers.
Yeah.
Right? They think they can just stay in their truck and drive around. And the subs know, right, Lance?
Yeah.
Which supers get out of their truck and go into the house and do their inspections and check on it personally.
Yeah, good luck with the drive-by stuff. If you're not in your home actively checking and controlling what's going on, you're going to get a home that the subs built their way instead of your way. And it doesn't end well, most often.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I've got a couple quick questions to end up with, Lance. We do, as the field guys, we build the product that sells, right? At the end of the day, if we don't build a home, we don't have anything to sell.
Right.
And it matches, we just interviewed Jackson. You know Jackson?
Yes.
I love it how it all fits together. Jackson sells the home. We don't have anything to build if he doesn't sell it. But
Right.
if we don't build it, we don't have anything for people to move into. So I want to piggyback that with, at the end of the home, you're getting it ready for our customers, our homeowners to move into. You just recently did a home. This is a big deal. People that have bought a home will understand this. Before you move in, you walk through and you prepare a punch list. The items that aren't completed or that are broken or this door doesn't open or whatever. And the gold standard in the business is a zero defect home, which is nearly impossible to do. And partly the reason we wanted to bring Lance on is he just delivered a zero defect home two days ago?
Yeah, Tuesday.
So can you take us to this is kind of a two-part question, and then we'll kind of end up, Trevor might have one at the end, but what did you do to get the home in such good shape? Because it's so difficult to do, one. And then what was your experience like with the homeowners when they came into their home and there was just absolutely nothing wrong with it?
Well, that's the most critical part, I think, in delivering a quality home is what you put into at the end. You have to have an eye to see everything that they might see. And I try to build the homes the same regarding, sometimes we have a buyer that's obviously tougher than others, but if you follow the same practice, I go through and I thoroughly check every inch and cranny of that home. They're systematically go through every bit of that home, and you look at everything. And my motto is always to build what you would want to live in yourself. If you build it like you would want it, you're gonna win most of the time.
So call out some of those details. When you look at every nook and cranny, what kind of things are
I'm going through the cabinets. I'm making sure the doors are all adjusted in. I'm looking at the laminate flooring or the carpet, making sure that it's been power stretched, that there's no scratches or any dings or anything possibly wrong with the flooring. You're looking at you're looking at so many things, the garage, your concrete, what kind of shape it's in. The list goes on and on. Your exterior doors, do they open, they shut, do they latch right?
So this doesn't take a few hours. This takes a couple of weeks, it sounds like, to get a home in that kind of...
For me to deliver a home that I'm proud of, I'm in that home for at least a week preparing it. Maybe some people would think that's too much, but if you really want to zero in and have a home that you're proud of, it takes 4 to 5 hours a day for a week to be in that home.
So you're 30 hours personally yourself.
Oh, easily. On a bigger home, yeah.
So a day in the life, sounds like a lot of the time is homes that are getting finished, right?
Yeah.
To prepare them for. So thank you, lad. I love hearing about the process. Just same experience, but with the customers. What was that like with taking the customers through a home that they had to be thrilled with?
First of all, if you do your very best, there's very few home buyers that's not going to recognize your devotion and your thoroughness, I guess, if that's the right word. But taking them through a home is gratifying to me because I'm proud of what I delivered to them. So it's almost rewarding to show them all the aspects, show them the low E windows, show them the fire rated doors, and the paint job is so important. The finish work is so important. All of these aspects that you spent so much time making sure that everything is just spot on. It's
because that's what they see right at the
Yeah.
end. They don't see the framing.
No.
But they see the windows and the floors and the
Yeah.
trim. Yeah.
And we have a cleaning crew come in and just do a great cleaning job at the end, which just sets it apart. But taking them through the home, we systematically take them through every room in the house. We give them this is their time, and hopefully if you've done everything and you've checked everything the way you're supposed to, you'll find that you've covered everything.
Okay.
I mean, there's always
So how did these buyers react to the home that was so well done?
they were just ecstatic. They loved their home. They thanked me, and I mean, I guess if you've done a good job or not. This doesn't matter, but they gave me a gift card to go to a nicer restaurant.
That doesn't happen all the
No,
time.
no.
Well, let me say this: that never happens if the home is not beautifully completed.
Yeah.
But meaning, let's say if they walked through and this cabinet door wasn't in, and the microwave didn't work, and the concrete was on the. They're not going to reward you like that. Ah, good for you.
I mean, we could spend literally all day talking about all the little things that you have to do. I mean,
Right,
even a little
right.
scratch on a microwave door, or a door that's slightly out of adjustment, or got scratched through construction. You have to see all this before you go into the walkthrough if you want to achieve a zero defect home.
Hey Trev, don't you think this is the kind of guy we want? I'm getting emotional, man. This is the kind of guy we want building our homes.
Oh, absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
And just, I'm going to ask, we're going a little over our time, Lance, but this is, can you talk, and then Trevor will have a final question. Can you talk about, you had a lot of influence on a lot of our junior supers.
Yeah.
Can you talk about kind of that mentorship and the training you provide them, what you try to teach them?
Yeah, so I've been fortunate enough to train most of our superintendents, and you have to just start with the fundamentals. It depends on how much they know. A lot of the guys aren't real knowledgeable, so you just start with the basics, teaching them about the footings, the foundation, the importance of soils, and making sure your sewer depths are right. You start with so many little things, but as you get into the home more and more, I give them just a section at a time to digest, and it's usually the back end that isn't quite as traumatic as the front end mistakes. But I just give them a little piece at a time to thoroughly train a superintendent before I'm ready to let them go is anywhere from 1.5 years to 2 years.
Oh my God.
Oh, wow.
So
Honestly.
that's really thorough.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not saying a superintendent's come from another company. They might.
Yeah, but
But
a new guy. Yeah.
The last trainees I've had have been 1.5 to 2 years before I feel I want to cut them loose and put all that responsibility on a new superintendent. And there's still so much for him to learn at that point.
Well, we
We'll
clearly
figure it out.
have the right guy to train our people.
Yes, we do.
Thank
Love
you.
it, love it. Hey, and by the way, I can only talk about this stuff for 6 or 7 hours, Lance. So
Yeah, I could too.
we might have to get our own extended, the director's
extended
cut
version.
The
podcast or something.
in-depth true facts of it. Okay.
Oh, that's awesome. Lance, just to finish up, my last question is, in your opinion, why should someone buy a Perry home?
Well, that's easy for me. I've
So
first
why?
of all, I feel like ever since I've started with Perry Homes and Bill Senior, I've been really proud to work for a company that has honesty, integrity, just an upstanding bunch of guys that really do care, and the value that we provide, I feel, is exceptional. When the other thing is, this might be off the course a little bit, but when you drive through a Perry subdivision, there's a different feel to it. Most of the people have their landscaping. I mean, the houses are set nice in the subdivision. It's not your average run-of-the-mill subdivision. It's a step above, and I think that Perry's always prided themselves in providing a Cadillac of homes in the sense.
The Cadillac of homes. I think we got our tagline.
We got it.
Perry Homes.
The Cadillac builder.
The Cadillac builder. That's even better.
Awesome.
Well,
Thank you, Lance.
Lance, it's been a pleasure.
Thank
to have
you.
Trevor, always fun to do an episode.
Thanks,
with you.
Steve.
And as always, if you're ever looking for a Perry home, we hope you consider looking for a home. Can you do the outtake? I'm bad at this. Maybe you.
If you're ever looking for a home, check out Perry Homes.
Okay. What he said. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you.